Good evening, everybody. This is WCI3's forecaster Seth Bonoff hopping on here on the live stream. We've got a little bit of activity down to our southwest. We've got actually quite a few tornado warnings starting to line up here right now, including one that just hopped over into Montgomery County as well. Keep an eye on one over in Macoupin as well, just starting to enter our area here. There was some storms down around the St. Louis area. There was lots of different velocity signatures that suggested there were several kind of areas of rotation here. So we're keeping an eye on things. Again, tornado warning just dropped here recently around south of Carlinville there down in Macoupin County. And now another new one there starting to clip parts of looking like it's going to head towards Fayette County there and looking like it's going to get Montgomery County up in there as well. So really just starting to enter the area here right now, just taking a wide shot of the way everything looks right now. There's really not a whole lot going on elsewhere. There is a severe thunderstorm warning up there around parts like Menard and Cass County. Not overly worried about that. There have been some pretty strong winds up that direction here at the moment as well. Kind of starting to have some things fire up here. So I'm going to keep looking back and forth between my chat while keeping radar up there behind me. Looking like they're going to expire that severe thunderstorm warning up there in Cass County here shortly. But keep an eye down here to the south. Let's flip things over to velocity. Let's get the St. Louis velocity up there here right now. Seeing a little bit of clutter down there. Hard to really make out anything here at the moment. There were some pretty impressive velocity signatures there earlier. Of course, with its close proximity there to that St. Louis station here. We'll flip up Lincoln and see if we can get anything else extra there. But looking like right now, these tornado warnings are what we're watching for. It's starting to creep into the area and potentially could be working their way up later on into more central parts of the area. Again, looking like Fayette County here, potentially going to see this storm track that direction as well, further into Montgomery County. So keep an eye on the track of things here. Looking at that one associated with the part that's into Montgomery County there. It's radar indicated rotation there, so nothing confirmed on the ground here yet. But definitely want to be getting to your safe spot if you are there in that storm polygon. Want to keep an eye there on things. Also going to take a look over here at the chat as well. You guys feel free to let me know what you are seeing so far and if you have any sort of reports to hear. Kind of fishing through here to see if anyone has said anything here about anything yet. Okay, so it doesn't look like any sort of reports here right now, but big tornado warning down there in St. Louis earlier. It was radar confirmed, started to march through the metro, kind of had the sky cams up there, just watching that move on in there. Things were pretty intense there for a period of time. I'm going to flip on lightning here just to show you how electric these storms are as they enter on into the area as well. Again, main concern down there towards Macoupin and Montgomery County. Hard to tell right now if anything is intensifying or not. Again, we looked at those velocity signatures there, kind of fuzzy look down that direction. We'll declutter here, get that lightning off the page. But we kind of saw this coming. We thought as these storms get later on to the night, things might weaken out a little bit. Here we are a little past 7 o'clock, and we're still seeing some of those storms starting to fire up right now. We're going to get a closer look here and see some of these specific areas there in the path of this. So places like Bunker Hill, Gillespie, Staunton in the path there, that one heading towards Macoupin County. Looking like Grisham is in the path here of this one over in Montgomery as well. East Fork, Fillmore, South Fillmore. Again, if you're in this polygon or anywhere near it, want to start taking shelter there right now. No confirmed tornado here at the moment. We're checking that here at all times to make sure that we are accurately relaying that there. Again, radar indicated rotation. Doesn't sound like anything's on the ground yet from what I've seen or heard. Keep an eye on the chats out this way. Got some people asking about Georgetown and Champaign as far as storm chances. We're not concerned about that here yet. There's going to be some storms heading possibly that direction here later tonight. That's kind of looking up here more towards the non-severe warned portion here right now. That's going to push through here later tonight. Not too concerned about that right now because it is a couple hours away. And like I said, as we move on into the nighttime hours there, things should overall have a weakening trend. So main concern stays down here towards the southwest. Keep an eye on places like Fayette County there, Shelby County potentially, and of course Montgomery County as well. Let's look here, see how fast these storms are moving here and kind of track things out to see when anything could be arriving there further into the area. So this one down here around the Montgomery County one, the one that's warned over in Montgomery County. Let's look and see how fast that one is moving. Kind of scroll through here so that way we can see what all's coming in front of that. There's a lot of stuff going on here, so I'm trying to shuffle through here at the same time and see how fast. 35 miles an hour, so let's punch that here into our little line and see when we can expect some of that here further into the area. So we're just going to grab it here based on where it's at right now. Going to drag it out here this direction. So yeah, still looking like a whole hour away from some of the furthest spots there along the line. Places like Mulberry Grove there, a whole hour away there on that storm track. So not very fast moving storms. You remember that event there back at the end of March. Those had some storms moved at 60 to 70 miles an hour. This not quite the same way, and that is why it's not an overly huge risk there as we continue on throughout the night, because as these storms really start to stall and slow down, they're going to kind of weaken there into the nighttime hours as well. So if they're just kind of trudging along, it's bad for the people within those storms there at the moment, of course, but those further along the line looking like they won't have quite as high of a chance there at seeing some of that action. So I'm going to flip things over here to velocity again real quick, see if we can see any kind of specific motions going on here. And I'm also keeping an eye on stuff here on the phone and in the National Weather Service updates to see what all they're bringing in. I saw gust reports earlier up there in the storm up there in Cass and Menard County. 70+ mile an hour gusts, had some tree damage, some large tree damage there owing to 70 mile an hour gusts over in, I believe it was Cass County. That might be right. That storm there with Cass County earlier. So some strong winds here with this one. That was the main concern there throughout much of the night. Of course, we do have these chances for tornadoes like the ones we're seeing down here towards the south right now. Seeing somebody talking from Vandalia. It looks like I'm close to Vandalia, Illinois. Will it die down by the time it reaches these areas? Kind of difficult to tell here right now. Again, it's radar confirmed rotation. I don't see reports of anything officially on the ground yet. So if we do see something get on the ground, I would definitely start to get prepared. Be prepared here either way, whether or not that gets all the way to there or not. If there's a tornado warning there on the next county over, you will want to at least start getting things ready in case that polygon does extend there into Fayette County and affect places like Vandalia there. You'll definitely want to be ready. But as of right now, it's tough to tell. There's an overall going to be a weakening trend there, but again, not too easy to tell completely how much that system is going, how much that specific storm there is going to develop by the time it gets over there into Fayette County and places like Vandalia. I've seen some people say places like Charleston. Anywhere really in the middle part of the viewing area right now is pretty safe for about an hour. Again, these storms really kind of moving slowly. That one down there towards the southeast, tornado warned storms moving at 35 to 40 miles an hour. And these ones here, anywhere in between those tornado warned storms and those severe thunderstorm warnings there around Cass and Menard County, those not severe warned there in between. So not overly concerned about anything in the middle part of the area here right now. Of course, we have to watch these ones out in front to see how these develop here as we go throughout the rest of our evening here. Taking a look at some other people. Right now, anywhere along I-55 is the place to be watching there, and actually along I-72 as these storms start to move on in. If you are not within that direction, I wouldn't be immediately concerned about anything. Just going to keep an eye here on the general wide shot of everything, and also keeping an eye here on any kind of chats coming on in. Again, if you're seeing anything, if you're out there down towards the southwest, out that direction, definitely want to be seeking shelter there as those tornado warnings move on in. But as of right now, still not seeing anything 100% confirmed here. I'm going to check the National Weather Service chat here and see what kind of reports they are getting in there. Strong wind signatures still around Cass and Mason counties entering Menard counties, says one of the National Weather Service employees up in Lincoln. Got some severe thunderstorm warnings outside the area up there towards Peoria now, it looks like. And some lighter end gusts reported near Lewiston. So again, nothing alarming here as far as things that have been confirmed yet. Kind of just watching here on standby, seeing how things are playing out here. Again, just this really long storm system here that moved through the St. Louis area earlier. I mean, this is quite a big geographic distance to have some tornado warnings. I mean, you're talking about a stretch from Macoupin County all the way down there towards, you know, far southeastern Missouri, well southeast of St. Louis there, down places like Sparta, I should say. So a pretty big area to watch for here. Again, just a large storm complex, and even just looking at it here, there's some very strong wind signatures. I'm going to flip it over here to base velocity and see what kind of radar indicated wind signatures we can get here. Also keeping an eye, severe thunderstorm warning. Now looking like there's another warning issued for Cass and Menard. Looks like they just updated that one. Considerable wind threat, 70+ mile an hour winds possible, and hail size 3/4 of an inch. So yeah, also keeping an eye on that storm up there. That's definitely not anything to mess around with either, even if it's not tornado warned with those 70 mile an hour gusts. So keeping an eye there. Also flipping back and forth here between that chat and the chat here on our social stream. Haven't looked outside for Springfield. So we're going to keep looking here. Again, I'll flip it over to base velocity there and see what kind of numbers we're getting just based on radar looks here. And looks like we're continuing to get some refreshes on our radar to see how these things are moving. Just kind of switch, and that was, let's do that one instead. There we go. So just kind of grabbing a really bright signature here to see what kind of velocities within these storms. Looks like I got that tornado warning there. I'll click out of that. We'll just check within here, and we'll open up our little velocity scope there. I guess I'm on velocity. That's pretty redundant. But those signatures, those kind of tannish looking ones, that's when you start to get around those 70-mile-an-hour gusts there. I wish I could kind of click on there, but I'm kind of also hitting the warning there as well. But that's kind of what you're expecting when you see those kind of bright pink and tan signatures there. So really strong winds, even if there's no tornado on the ground, still seeing that rotation there, obviously, according to the warnings there issued by the National Weather Service. Again, not seeing anything confirmed here at the moment. We'll switch back to our reflectivity here, make things a little easier to see. So that boots up here. There we go. So just kind of keep an eye here on the wide shot. Again, this is missing a good portion of the area. We're kind of just on the stream cautiously watching to see how these storms evolve out over time. Many of us in the clear, and many of us not look like it's kind of stormy weather outside right now. I know right before the 6 o'clock show, we had the Springfield camera pulled up there and the Champaign camera pulled up at the same time. Champaign was completely sunny. Springfield was seeing those clouds move on in here. So it's kind of a weird night. Don't let your guard down. And I know those people you've got some people in the chat there asking about their location, the central part of the area like Champaign, places like Mattoon and Charleston, even over in Vermilion County. I am not overly concerned there at the moment just because these storms are slow moving. We're going to have to see how these progress over time as they head out that direction to tell anything. But general thought here is that storms out that direction are going to weaken here with time. I'm going to flip things over here to the Springfield camera. I've got it loaded up here in the background. I've actually got some impressive lightning starting to show up there on that cam, even though there are not any kind of immediate storms out that direction. So we'll keep that up here for just a moment. Got an update here from one of the chats in Lincoln. Reflectivity has come down quite a bit. Velocity is still impressive with the Mason/Cass/Menard County storm. So still watching those strong winds there with that storm on the very west side of the area. Flip back over to Storm Tracker Doppler here. Keep an eye on things. Kind of watching that Springfield cam. There's not any severe weather imminently there with that. That's kind of the only live camera we have here at the moment that can really see anything. That's our furthest west camera and the camera closest to any sort of action there here at the moment. So again, just kind of keeping an eye on things, kind of just cautiously watching here as not many people in the area are currently being affected. That could soon change here though. I'm going to double check a few things. Still just seeing radar indicated rotation here, if anything, with that one down there around Montgomery County. We'll check again over on that one in Macoupin County. Looking like radar indicated rotation with that one again. So again, nothing confirmed on the ground here yet. No one has spotted anything yet, but that radar indicated rotation is enough there to prompt those tornado warnings, and they still have those going. I'm going to check the times on those to see when those are set to expire. And we'll see here if I scroll down soon enough. We'll take a look here. Get some messages here on my phone as well, keeping up. Got several different ways of getting messages here. Again, if you guys are seeing anything or if you have any questions, feel free to drop them up there in the chat. I love that people are loving the tie. It matches the situation here tonight as well. So keeping an eye on everything. Again, send me your comments or questions if you have anything there. Again, not overly concerned about anything here in the central part of the area right now, but kind of just actively on standby here. If we do get a situation where some of these tornadoes start to move into more of the central parts of the area, we start to get storms moving up there around, Vandalia, start to get them around Shelby County, we might have to jump in there on CBS to break in, but I'm not getting to that point here yet just because these storms, radar indicated rotation, haven't had any kind of confirmations of anything there on the ground. So there's potential that these storms don't even remain this strong there as they get on into that part of the area, but definitely prompted a little bit of a heads up here on the live stream to make sure that everyone's aware, anyone that's kind of in the path of this thing. And again, if you're just now joining us, we are on live stream right now. Nothing imminently in the area. We kind of have a couple of tornado warnings starting to creep their way into the area, both of them moving under 40 miles an hour, so not very fast moving storms here. But of course, if you are in the path of those things, definitely want to get to shelter there and make sure you are in your safe spot. And again, anybody there on those counties bordering those tornado warnings definitely just want to be a little cautious, not ringing any sort of alarm bells here yet. But as one person said earlier that lives over in Vandalia, just asking about if the storm's going to make it there that way. It's hard to tell if it's going to maintain its strength. It very well could be a severe thunderstorm there as it gets over down that direction. But overall, I would not completely, like I said, ring the alarm bell yet and completely react as if there was a tornado there right now, because slow-moving storms, not seeing any kind of confirmation there as any sort of tornadoes down. Also keeping an eye, I don't want to discount this little system up here around Cass and Menard County, getting gusts over 70 miles an hour, and actually have had more than one report of some pretty large tree branches getting hit there with that one as well. So that was our biggest concern, like I said earlier, those strong winds as this straight line wind action kind of moves through the area. Even throughout the night, as these storms maybe start to become sub-severe, and we just had another warning pop up there, that one continuing on into Menard County, actually going to hit parts of Logan County there as well. New severe thunderstorm warning. Take a look at what's going on there with that. Kind of hazards. 3/4 of an inch hail and wind gusts up to 60 miles an hour. So that 60-mile-an-hour wind is what prompted that one. Kind of just taking a look, see any kind of towns there in that area. Greenview, New Holland, Corwin there in that polygon as well. Hubley in that one as well. So some strong winds associated with that one, some decent sized hail. Keep an eye up there on that situation. Definitely directed most of our attention down here still towards the south. And just kind of watching how these are going to develop here and see if we're going to have anything continuing on here as we move throughout the rest of the night here tonight. So again, if you have any reports, definitely tell us. The NWS chat has kind of slowed down here a little bit, not getting any kind of major reports from there. We'll take a look again at that Springfield Skycam just to see any kind of things going on there. I don't see a whole lot of activity there at the moment. Again, those storm clouds rolling in, but that's not really too concerning just based on the fact that there's not severe storms imminently there in that area. I'm going to go to full screen here for just a moment. So I'm going to flip it over here, just have you guys take a look at that for a little bit, kind of see what's going on that direction. I'll keep steering radar here, of course. Got a couple things to check in on here on the computer, making sure everything's running smoothly. So again, not anything too overly concerning here at the moment, as long as we don't get any kind of confirmed rotation here with these storms. We're going to flip over here. I'm going to change my radar up here just a bit. We're going to have that sweeping radar here across the area, just to kind of look at things. Again, not a whole lot going on there. We'll check velocity here again just to see what all is going on. And again, some strong velocity signatures down that direction. As far as couplets, there is a little bit going on there. I can definitely see that radar indicated rotation there with that one over in, I believe that is, yes, that's the Montgomery County one. This one over here around Staunton, watching that area as well. Definitely seeing that rotation, but again, nothing confirmed on the ground. If you're in that area though, definitely don't want to take chances. Places like Gillespie, Mount Olive, Hornsby, and Honey Point. If you are in those areas and you are watching, make sure you're in your shelter there, because even if nothing's on the ground, that can quickly change over there as well. We'll check the chat here on the stream again. Again, if you guys have any questions, let me know. And if you have any reports, let me know as well. Still have some people. Jacob Dickey, geez, he's good enough. I might not even need to come in. I appreciate that, Jacob. Thank you. And people are loving the tie here too. People are asking about timing for storms everywhere else. Again, that is kind of later on into the night. We're at 7:30 here right now, so not too concerned about anything imminently. I believe the kind of in between the I-55 and I-57 region is kind of looking at a 8 to 9:30-ish window. These storms are moving a little bit slower here than what I thought, and that's not overly a bad thing for those that aren't in the path of those storms. Of course, those under those storms are kind of getting a little extra there on the, kind of getting a little extra sitting underneath those storms. Getting a couple of dings here on the National Weather Service chat. Got some reports coming up in Fulton County as well. That's within the National Weather Service Lincoln domain, but not quite within ours. We'll flip the camera back here, back onto me, and just kind of keep an eye on things. Still just kind of watching the general wide shot of the area here. Not a whole lot going on in between these tornado warnings down here to the south and that strong windstorm up there towards the north. That's actually looking like it could kind of trail up there, still moving northeast. That could kind of scrape parts of Logan and McLean County here later on. Everywhere else in between, up and down I-55 though, between about Springfield and Carlinville, kind of not looking at anything overly impressive here right now as well. Keep an eye here on our messages to see anything else going in. Again, I know it may sound like I'm kind of talking in circles here a little bit. We're kind of, again, at that cautionary standpoint where we're just kind of looking to see if anything's going to make a bigger threat than what it is here at the moment. Obviously some strong winds down there and some rotations still being seen in Macoupin and Montgomery counties and strong winds up there in Menard County and now Logan County. But overall, not many people in the area being affected by this. As I said, though, that could all change. That's kind of why we're still here on the stream taking a look at things. We'll see any kind of updates here on any kind of impacts or what they are seeing within these storms right now. Still just radar indicated rotation. And it looks like we just had a little bit of an extension there well into Montgomery County there now. We've got 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts, quarter-size hail extending up that warning now. So let's read this out here for just a moment. Severe thunderstorm warning, Montgomery County, 60-mile-an-hour winds and quarter-size hail. That's kind of an extension. It's hard to tell colors on there if that's, yes, okay, that's two different warnings it looks like. So they've extended a severe thunderstorm warning northeast of that tornado warning. I believe it looks like, or maybe the whole thing. Let me click around here and make sure that I'm not. So they still have the tornado warning back there. I think this is that dividing line there between those storms. So they've extended that severe thunderstorm warning northeast a little bit, so 60-mile-an-hour winds and a little bit of large hail there involved, but not continuing on the tornado warned portion there of that storm here just yet. And we're monitoring that here. That is the big thing to watch down there to the south. From what I've seen, I'm not really too concerned about anything in between, except for that strong wind gust up there in the western part of the area. We're going to kind of keep it parked down here right now. I'm going to put up lightning there again. These storms have been pretty electric. We were watching that one tornado warned storm roll in through St. Louis earlier, and that one was lighting up the screen. I had one of the sky cams on earlier. Light up the screen, camera was shaking up and down there, so definitely seeing some pretty strong winds in that and some pretty impressive lightning here and there as well. Taking a look at everything here in the chat to see if anything's going on. So we got someone in Shelbyville right now. And again, yeah, it is kind of looks like that storm track is heading that direction, but it's got a long way to go. It's going to have to make quite a track there to continue to stay at that severe level by the time it gets all the way out there towards Shelby County. So again, wouldn't be too overly worried, but we're just kind of watching to see how these storms are evolving here. They start to move further into the area. Of course, that starts to affect more people here right now, but it's just kind of clipping the outskirts of the region right now. So we're effectively, most of us are kind of dodging a bullet here. This kind of mass here in the middle might have some pretty strong winds as that line rolls on in. Man, that Springfield cam is really lighting up. Let's see if we can get some lightning shots there on our sky cam as well. I'm going to keep that up there for just a moment. I'm also kind of watching radar here in the corner to make sure we're not missing anything there. Well, we've got that sky cam up, but had quite a bit of lightning, and of course now it's acting shy and doesn't want to show up here on the sky cam. But you can kind of see that camera fluttering around just a little bit there with some of those stronger wind gusts. And keeping an eye on everything that's going on here right now. Again, effectively, we're kind of not getting the absolute worst of it here. That was all down to the south and is starting to track into the area, but is not entirely within the area here yet. So eyes still on Montgomery County there and starting to end. The threat is there in Macoupin County as it pushes on through. Keep an eye here on NWS chat as well, which is kind of gone a little quiet here within our area. There's some stuff going on outside the area that is irrelevant, some stuff up there around heading towards the Peoria area there, but nothing here of immediate concern. I'm going to check in on that storm up there still hanging around in Menard and Logan County, see what kind of wind reports they're getting on that one still. And around 60-mile-an-hour gusts, so not quite as bad as earlier. I know we had some 70-plus-mile-an-hour gusts there. So definitely still being cautious up in that region. Strong winds are still nothing to mess with there. but it does look like they've kind of calmed down a little bit since then. Again, severe thunderstorm warning extended off of that tornado warning there in Macoupin County and into Montgomery County, I should say. So keep an eye on things. Some pretty impressive reflectivity signatures there. So some pretty heavy rainfall associated here with some of these. Keep an eye here on our messages as they roll on in as well. Again, nothing too alarming just yet, but that could all change here soon. That was the one place we were worried about. The Storm Prediction Center kind of effectively nailed that zone. We had it up here earlier. They just kind of had that little area around Macoupin and Montgomery County included, and that's kind of exactly where we're seeing things right now. We'll see as things progress. The rest of us, they're in that slight risk, but I feel like at this point that's a little more out of caution as these storms to see how they kind of evolve or devolve there as they move throughout the night. Still seeing, again, that isolated chance for some tornadoes. We have rotation signatures here within these storms, but again, nothing confirmed on the ground here just yet. We're going to flip it over to the stream chat here. Make sure everything is good. Seeing if anybody has any questions. Got someone asking about the Cumberland County area, Neoga area. Again, not overly concerned here at the moment for that, but those storms do have a track heading up there that direction, and they still do look impressive here on radar. You can just see those dark oranges and dark reds, some strong winds still in there, and some heavy rain, even some hail as well. But we'll see as that trails up there towards Shelbyville and places into Cumberland County as well, like that one person asking from Neoga there. But right now, not anything too concerning here. Champaign also looking good in the clear there for the most part right now. This storm system is going to kind of slowly trudge along here the rest of the night, and it may be a while before some of these storms get here. I'm going to pull up a future track here real quick, just kind of taking a look at things to make sure nothing new has happened there, and it looks like we're good. I'm going to pull up one of our latest future tracks here and just kind of show you all the timing of some of these storms. So we'll get a look at this one right now. This one updated a little earlier, so it's a little behind. We're kind of looking at things like that here right now. So as we move ahead to the rest of the night, the storm structure is staying solid here on this model here, our rapid refresh model. And you can see those high reflectivities, but again, 10 to 11 o'clock is when some of those storms start to kind of move in here to the central part of the area around I-57, but it does look like things could get a little messy there around Shelby and Effingham County there later on, and Fayette County, of course, as well. So going to keep an eye on that. It's kind of our area of concern is down this direction. I think anywhere north of that, maybe at the worst, just kind of has some strong gusts and maybe some large hail, but I think our tornado warnings, the risk associated with those, I think that is going to really kind of hug that I-70 region down there towards the south. Not really creep up there to the north, but of course, watching to make sure that stays the case and that nothing changes here. Flip back on radar, taking a look. No new warnings here in a little bit. And we're going to see if they continue. And it looks like they're kind of, they're shrinking that tornado warning there a little bit. So still watching that storm, that rotating storm around Gillespie now, kind of starting to pass Gillespie on its way there towards Litchfield. And we'll take a look and make sure that nothing has changed there as far as that storm goes. Mess around on stuff here on my phone as well, making sure that no messages are getting by me without me seeing them here. We'll flip up velocity here again real quick and just kind of observe stuff down that direction. So eyes down towards the southwest right now. Anybody just now jumping into the stream here? Not too concerned. I'll give a wide shot here real quick before I dive into the velocity there. And it looks like we have a confirmed tornado down there towards the south. That looks like it's moving out there just straight east. I'm gonna drop a tag on that and look and see what's going on in that one. This one not overly affecting our area here right now, but they've got a damaging tornado down that direction, tornado warning. So it looks like that one is the strongest storm. The strongest stuff staying south there right now. And it looks like that one could be causing some problems. But that one stays south of the area. That one looks like it's moving straight east here right now. So nothing to worry ourselves about. We're watching those two above it here right now, which really haven't moved here all that much within the last half hour or so. And that's kind of the case. If these storms are moving at 30 miles an hour there, then they're just not really going to make a whole lot of progress here slowly but surely, but kind of waiting to see any sorts of updates out of that. I'm going to flip over to the National Weather Service chat again here real quick, see if anything's going on there. That chat has really kind of gotten quiet here, which is overall a good thing. If we're not seeing stuff in the chat, that means there's nothing too overly worrisome there. I'm going to look at our stream chat here again. Just kind of a basic overview of things. I know I'm kind of sounding like a little bit of a broken record here, but there's not a whole lot going on here across the area. I'm going to flip into full screen mode here for just a moment. I'm going to check and make sure my audio levels are good. Somebody makes it sound like we're getting a little quiet here. So hopefully that's a little better there as far as audio goes. But that's the look right now. Kind of up and down I-55, the very top of the region got some storms, some severe warning storms at the top there of I-55, and then some at the very bottom. It's really those tornado warning ones that prompted the break-in here. There's plenty of strong winds in between here and there, but the concern remains down here towards the southwest, still kind of just watching these storms, seeing how they evolve here. I'm going to flip over to the St. Louis velocity here once of course, it helps to click the right one there instead of reflectivity. So yeah, definitely seeing those strong winds still. See if there's still a little bit of rotation there. It's nothing jumping off the page, nothing super alarming here, but can definitely see that they still have a little bit of rotation going on there within that storm. We've got a new severe thunderstorm warning. That one is outside the viewing area. Looks like another issue up there around the Peoria area. So effectively, we're kind of, I guess I don't want to jinx anything there, so I'll kind of stay quiet and keep in what I was going to say. But right now, there's nothing out of control happening here at the moment. Kind of looking around here, hoping to get a little bit of some feedback here from the chat as to any sort of reports of stuff going on there around Macoupin and Montgomery County, but I'm not getting anything from there. Of course, if you are down that direction or you have anyone down there that direction, we will, of course, take some questions, take some reports as well. Just going to check that chat here again. Tornado warning. Keep an eye on things. This warning eventually heading over there into Fayette County. If they decide to continue to keep that one warned there. And I'm going to check real quick. Of course, I don't even know if got to check. I'm still on full screen here. I'm going to flip back to me. We're going to look at something here. I'm going to check our alert boxes here, make sure, see if anything has expanded out. Okay, so that's right. Tyler Repking put that in there. I'm glad he did because that somehow got past my messages. So it looks like Fayette County now included in that tornado watch box. Thank you for bringing that up there, Tyler. I have alerts set to my phone here. Oh, they did put that in there. Okay, that one must have snuck in there in between. My apologies for that. There is a tornado watch down there for Fayette County. That one I have to assume is going to, yes, that one's also staying around there till 10 p.m. So extended the tornado watch down there to the south as those storms continue to pose a little bit of a risk down that direction. And getting some more warnings there outside of the area. So other than that watch box extending a little bit there, we haven't had a lot of new developments here in the last half hour or 45 minutes. I'm getting a couple of alerts here, trying to keep track. That one, again, outside the area. So these warnings have stayed in place here for about a good 30 or 45 minutes now. And other than that, there's not a whole bunch going on. There definitely looks to be, there's some pretty impressive rainfall there behind this system as well. But just kind of watching things, not too concerned or overly impressed with any kind of tornadic activity here so far. Still got a few general questions with just where the system's going to end up. A lot of this line, we'll just kind of take a wide shot here without getting too far away. This line kind of little disjointed, but it's that bow echo down there it's that bowing region down there towards the south. This thing here is what's causing a lot of the noise, and that one is staying south of the area here right now. All this stuff up to the north will continue to slowly move on out towards the east. It might take a couple hours for it to get to places like Champaign. It's going to be maybe close to 11 o'clock there by the time it gets to the Illinois-Indiana border. So no immediate concerns for anyone other than those that are currently under those warning boxes here at the moment. And we've still got that tornado warning as it starts to move on out there of Macoupin County and really start to switch over into Montgomery County as well. Looking at our messages here. Again, if anybody has reports, any kind of questions, toss them over there in the chat. If you're just now joining us, we've got a couple tornado warnings down to the south, Macoupin and Montgomery counties, that kind of look like they could potentially extend further up, potentially hitting places like Fayette County, Shelby County eventually. But as far as keeping that tornado warning tag on some of these, it's a little uncertain here at the moment. If that rotation keeps up, then they definitely will keep those on there. But from what I've seen, there's no kind of confirmation of touchdowns or anything here at the moment. Just continue to see that rotation within these storms. And that's kind of where we're at right now. There's not a ton going on that's overly concerning here at the moment, but we're just kind of keep an eye on things to make sure that it kind of stays that way. Because if we just kind of get a couple severe thunderstorm warnings here and there with those strong winds, that's kind of the situation that we would favor here over any of these kind of rotating storms evolving and kind of spinning out some of those tornadoes there. The further we get into the night, the longer this system takes to move across the area. We'll probably not see as high of a risk anymore, but again, that's why we're here. That's why we're watching things to make sure that nothing changes with that here. Got to keep an eye here on some of the stuff going on in the chat as well. Not seeing anything noteworthy there. So we'll kind of just recap here. I'm just going to look at a few forecast notes here while we're watching stuff happen there. We're still expecting throughout the rest of the night here tonight. I'm going to get my timing graphic pulled up for those asking about that. Moving on to the rest of the night here tonight, we're starting to get to that 8 o'clock hour here right now. So that orange region is where those storms are starting to move into right now. But notice the time gap there, 8 to 10 o'clock. That's a pretty wide time gap, and that's just because these storms are they're not moving overly fast there right now. Like I said, places out to the east there along the state border between Illinois and Indiana, places like Danville, Paris, places out there, it might not be till even 10 or 11 o'clock before those storms get there. So still plenty of time out that direction. And looking at Storm Prediction Center stuff, they still have the same tornado risk here. We're in that 3 out of 10 area, but we kind of have a general idea based on where things are at here at the moment that kind of have a general idea of where those tornadoes are most likely to happen, even if that 3 out of 10 kind of extends way up there to the north. Strong winds right now are the big story. Even with these tornado-warned storms, those haven't produced anything on the ground yet. So the only things really keeping us watching there are those strong winds and it's pretty localized heavy rainfall. But overall, we're not sitting too bad here at the moment. We are going to, let's see, I'm going to see if I can get that Springfield camera directed around a little bit to try to look at that storm moving up there towards the north. Actually, that might be a good shot there right now. I'm going to pull up that Springfield camera and just kind of move it around here. There's some storms north and south of Springfield that are severe warned, but it's not, there we go, there's some good lightning on there. It's not anything actually there in the Springfield area. We're kind of just using this camera to kind of look around and see what's going on north and south of it there as well. So we're going to kind of give this camera a spin around here just to look at some stuff, and it's got a couple of raindrops on there, so I've got to orient myself with this camera. I believe that's the Capitol building right there. So we're just going to kind of spin around, try to get around some of these antennas here and see what else is going on. You see this camera just kind of really moving up and down. I mean, there's some pretty strong winds here with that. I'm going to check on that real quick, actually. I'm going to see our current wind gusts here. I'm going to pull up that map and just kind of see what kind of winds we're looking at here right now. Yeah, it's pretty spotty out there. 43, though, in Springfield. That's a pretty... Those are starting to ramp up there, and you kind of see those reds and yellows and pinks starting to work their way into the picture out there towards the west. But overall, not too bad there as far as gusts go. That'll, of course, pick up here later on in the night as that system moves on through, as that low pressure spins on by and tightens up our gradient here, bringing pretty windy conditions here the next day or two with that as well. Pop it back on radar here, making sure everything's still as we saw it last there. again, really just 3 warnings that we'd be keeping an eye on. This one up here for some strong winds that were at one point over 70 miles an hour. I believe since then, yes, it's come down to 60-mile-an-hour warning there. A little bit of hail, nothing huge out of that. That one up there around Menard and Logan County, and of course down here to the south, still watching those tornado-warned storms down here around primarily Montgomery County. Now it looks like that little last bit there in Macoupin County is probably going to come to an end here soon. So just kind of watching next in line here right now. I mean, looking at Christian County, Shelby County, and also looking at Fayette County there as well. We're going to see exactly, and there we go, just right on cue. Severe thunderstorm warning now over there in Fayette County. We'll take a look and see that one. That is good news, though, that it's just a severe thunderstorm warning. They did not actively continue that tornado warning yet. Of course, that doesn't entirely mean that they won't there at some point, as long as they still see that rotation. We're going to take a look here at that one for Fayette County as well. So we're seeing Fayette County, severe thunderstorm warning, 60-mile-an-hour winds and quarter-size hail there with that one. I think that's probably the direction we're heading here as far as stuff that we're going to see. Unless these little bits of rotation kind of start to really do anything impressive or kind of evolve here, I think we're just going to be kind of looking at some strong storm gusts and maybe even some hail approaching an inch in size. Haven't had any kind of crazy reports of large hail. They had baseball-sized hail over there in Missouri as those storms were kind of at their peak. So since then, things have calmed down as they've moved on here into the area. But watching out here towards the east right now. So starting to hit places like Vandalia, kind of starting to enter that region right now, on its way out there from down south. Again, say it a couple times here now, but this is the one portion of the storm line to keep an eye on for down here, obviously because it's got the most warnings on it, but also it just looks like the most structured. As you look up and down, like this region along I-55, above it there, north of Springfield, and down there to the south around Montgomery and Fayette County there right now, there's just really not a whole lot going on other than some heavy rain and maybe some strong gusts, but overall nothing too alarming here at the moment. And effectively, it just looks like those that had those warnings earlier, places like Cass, Morgan, Menard, and even now really Sangamon counties, it's just kind of be a bit of some moderate to heavy rain here at times and some gusty conditions, but looking like your severe threat here is starting to wrap up as that line starts to progress east here. So we're starting to move into that second tier, that timing graphic I showed earlier, trying to move into that second tier between the 8 and 10 o'clock hours now. So from about right where they're at right now to, I would probably make the cutoff here around, probably right around there, around the I-57 region, starting to come down this borderline here of counties. So in the next 2 hours, that's where we expect to see those storms move here. And as far as what to watch, I would say the places that we have to keep an eye on here for are obviously Fayette County here right now, potentially Shelby County and Christian County, depending on how this pair of storms continues to move there. So that's kind of the next few places in line are Christian, Shelby, and Fayette counties there at the moment. Everyone else, just not looking like anything too big other than some strong wind gusts here. But again, with some of these storms still producing rotation, we're just kind of sitting down here, just kind of waiting to see if those are going to have a second life and kind of fire back up and potentially bring some short-lived tornadoes here, or if they're just going to kind of wither away and die here as they move into the nighttime portions. There's some activity ramping up here on the chat about stuff going up there in Peoria. Of course, that's well out of the area, but if you know anybody up there, it's looking like 70-mile-an-hour gusts and some hail approaching an inch up there as well. So watching that. We've got a new discussion here looking into what National Weather Service is thinking. Looking about 50-50 on likelihood of issuing another watch here soon. Kind of scroll through our notifications, make sure that nothing is happening. Some storm reports again outside the area. Looking like a lot of action's going up there around Fulton County here at the moment. But again, things kind of trending down a little bit. So we've got a severe thunderstorm warning that has now expired. That one, so that's going to be this one that they are going to expire here in just a moment, it looks like. So that one likely to disappear off our page here within a minute or two. They have expired severe thunderstorm warning for Logan, Mason, and Menard County. So maybe that one all of a sudden not one to really keep an eye on. That had 70-mile-an-hour gusts earlier, caused some damage as it entered the area, but looking like that one's starting to end the reach the end of its lifetime there as far as a severe thunderstorm. So really, once that box disappears, attention kind of just stays down here to the south around I-70, that little wedge there where I-70 and I-55 kind of split apart is where we're watching. And again, more stuff coming there out of Peoria. Just keeping an eye on everything that's going on. Strong winds. I'm going to check. It's been a second since I've looked at the stream chat here, just making sure that we do not have anything new going on here. So yeah, not looking like anyone has anything in here. And right now, the NWS chat just has stuff going on up there around the Peoria area. So it's been a little bit since we've had anything really new other than just continuing on those warnings. We're just really watching the same set of storms here. And again, this region, still something to watch for some of those severe thunderstorm warnings. But that's all we're dealing with. That won't be the end of the world there. Just kind of looking at lower end severe thunderstorm warnings here with these ones. We're talking about like 60-mile-an-hour gusts and 1-inch hail, which is the very bottom of the criteria that you need there. Obviously, severe thunderstorm warning is a severe thunderstorm warning, so definitely don't want to take it lightly there, but nothing overly active here. And it looks like, yeah, so it looks like we don't have any tornado warnings actively in the area here right now, which is, of course, good news to hear. But like I just said, severe thunderstorm warnings are still impactful here. Not seeing anything getting stronger, just seeing stuff kind of start to downgrade here slowly but surely. We hope it stays that way. And yep, like we said there, that warning up there towards the that Menard and Logan County storm has disappeared now. The warning box disappeared. Obviously, the storm didn't go anywhere, but that one no longer warned. And really, if that one has gotten the warning taken off of it, unless there's any sort of development here soon, these storms up there in the Peoria area there, kind of getting into north and northwest Illinois territory there, those tracks based on those polygons are going to kind of ship north of the area here, northwest of the area. So not too alarmed about anything up that direction here right now. And concern is starting to trend a little lower on these storms down here towards the south. We'll take a look at a couple of different things here. We're going to switch to, let me kind of see where we're at here. Still probably that St. Louis one, obviously giving us the best look down that direction. So we'll give that St. Louis velocity one another look here. So yeah, still some pretty strong winds. We'll take a look there at storm relative velocity and just kind of look around. Yeah, I'm just there's a little bit of back and forth there, a little kind of coupling there with the greens and the reds next to each other, but it's didn't look like what it did earlier. Even earlier, all that was a radar indicated rotation. So definitely seeing things. Whoa, oh man, I wish I had that Springfield camera up. I'm going to flip it over there real quick. We just had a big old cloud to ground lightning bolt just flash there in the distance in the cityscape. Hopefully we could get another look at that here in just a moment. I'm going to keep it on there in hopes of seeing that again. Saw it just right out of the corner of my eye. That was a pretty impressive bolt of lightning there. Keep an eye on things here in our chat. We'll flip over to the National Weather Service chat as well. And again, everything just kind of staying up there around Peoria is where a lot of those damage reports are starting to come in here. I'm going to take a closer look there at that mesoscale discussion that was released just a minute ago. That's just a little bit of jargon for what the guys that are setting out these storms here, the ones that are in charge of issuing those watches, kind of just taking a look at the situation there on a smaller scale and just saying, hey, do we think the scenario is lining up to where we could issue another watch? Do we think things are trending that way? They are currently looking at some damaging wind threats. And of course, I have the sky come up there. I'm going to flip it over to radar so I can motion where they're looking at here at the moment. So they are looking here into just kind of a region encasing kind of Champaign, Decatur, Springfield, even down here to north of Effingham, just kind of a region out here this direction. They're kind of looking to gauge, do we think we should issue any kind of watches up here that direction? Got another chat coming down there right now. Again, Fulton County there. They have Watch issuance chance of 40% there. So on the lower end of things, still something to kind of watch for. They are kind of starting to see that that Boeing segment there, especially down there towards the south, to kind of see how things progress there, as those kind of do have a northeasterly direction to them. So this will end up getting to places, like we said, Shelby County, moving into Fayette County there right now, over into Effingham County as well. But we're not really looking at anything different than what we're currently seeing at the places where these storms are right now. So really not overly concerned if you are in, for instance, Shelby County, Effingham County. These storms will eventually be heading your direction. They're kind of slow moving. It'll be a little bit. And even when they get there, 60-mile-an-hour gusts, hail close to an inch, something to definitely want to not be outside or really do anything else, even in your car there when severe thunderstorm warning's coming. But again, it's not anything too overly concerning. And if these, we'll kind of watch and see how this line moves throughout the area. But if things generally stay on the lower end of things. Oh, wow. We got this is outside the area, but something worth relaying. Fulton County emergency manager report of a gust of 80 miles an hour. My goodness, up there in Fulton County. So that's the kind of stuff we're seeing up there that direction. We had something comparable to that earlier when the storm was entering kind of around that Cass, Morgan, Menard area. Had gusts upwards of 70 miles an hour, damaged some large trees, a couple of large trees it sounds like. But that's that threat northwest of the area, so not seeing that kind of thing replicated here. And really, we jumped on here because we had a pair of tornado warnings at the time when we jumped on, and right now, just not kind of even on the borderline here of just seeing these things really just kind of scrape the southern end of our viewing area here. Of course, we'll keep up the stream here. Got to keep an eye on my time here as well. It's 8 o'clock. Got that 9 o'clock show on WCIX on channel 49 that I'll have to probably get prepping here for soon. If there's no real active development here in the next 15 to 20 minutes, as long as there's nothing completely out of hand, we might be wrapping up here again in that time frame just to kind of get things ready for that 9 o'clock show. But unless things change right now, there's really not a whole lot to discuss. Kind of giving you about all I can as far as potential impacts coming through. Rotation looks to be very, very mild, not worried about any kind of tornadic activity down there anymore as these storms start to weaken across the area. And 60-mile-an-hour gusts, again, 1-inch size hail. That's it's the very bottom threshold there of severe thunderstorm warning. So not seeing anything over the top here. So just kind of taking a look here at things in the chat to make sure we're not missing anything right now. And still just up here on the stream. Nothing prompting to break in there on TV here as it sits right now. We kind of thought we were maybe heading that direction when those tornado warnings started to sneak into the area, but since then those tornado warnings have taken off, and we're just kind of sitting around and watching these severe thunderstorms to see if they will really develop or anything here. We're going to take a closer look here just to get some town names here involved here in the path of this. We've kind of just been looking at a general overview here. Let's get a little bit down there into the small scale. It's places like Nokomis, Ramsey in that area as well, Morrisonville and Vanderville up there as well. So a couple of places to definitely be on alert for some strong winds. You might start to hear those winds howling through your windows here soon. Kind of have to watch some of those trees to make sure that none of them are going to lose any branches there. But again, this is stuff that we've seen before. This is stuff that we see in most severe weather events when there's any sort of activity. We're just kind of on the lower end of that scale here right now, and that's, of course, good news as we move throughout the night. And as we are hitting those nighttime hours here, we've got we've got a new severe thunderstorm warning that is clipping parts of Logan County and now starting to move into McLean County. So this one will end up there in the Bloomington area. I'm going to get a read on how fast that one's moving here, and we'll time that one out to see who can expect that. 60-mile-an-hour wind gust, and again, quarter-size hail, so the bottom end there of that. But the storms around that Peoria region right there, we had reports kind of in that vicinity of 70+ mile-an-hour gusts as well. So something to keep an eye on for if that storm's kind of attached from that one. That could potentially what we see there at the worst So let's get that out. Let's see how fast. Moving northeast at 45 miles an hour. So let's grab our timing device here. We'll change that to 45. And let's take a look. I'm going to drag it here. So we are looking at, let me try that again. Let me try to get Bloomington dragged into that one here this time. So as these storms sit right now, we'll drag that. Get it moving over here. So yeah, we got normal on there right now. So within the next 40 minutes or so, kind of hitting that Bloomington normal area. And of course, if your town is on the name of this list, those are some of the times you're expecting some of those to arrive there. So looking at 8:20 there for Tremont, 8:27 there for Mackinac, 8:30 there for Allen, 8:37 for Danvers. So this is one of the faster moving storms, 45 miles an hour. Definitely not zipping through the area here by any means, but this one got a little more speed to it, so expect stuff to move through there a little bit quicker. But 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts, quarter-size hail. That's what we're talking about here, and that's bottom of the barrel severe thunderstorm warning criteria right there. A lot of stuff going on down there to the south. That is a pretty impressive, just looking, just got that bow shape to it there as some of those strong winds just continue to push out that direction. But majority of the warnings outside of the area, the majority of the worst warnings staying outside of the area. And we'll flip over the chat here again, see what's going on. So someone asking about what I said about Logan County. There is a severe thunderstorm warning that's kind of clipping the northwest portion of that. Got Orville in there. That's probably one of the only towns I could sneak in there. So not too concerned about anything within main parts of Logan County there. So not seeing anything too overly concerning there. With that, just kind of a thunderstorm moving north of that area. More looking into the McLean County region there around the Bloomington area. And again, that's not a very high-end severe thunderstorm. It's going to get windy. There might be some hail dropping outside out there on your porch as well. So other than that, nothing too alarming there. Of course, feel free to toss any questions into the chat here as far as anything that's going on. I'll remind everyone again, I've been doing this a couple times. I know people have been asking questions. As far as timing of everywhere else here tonight, this system's going to take another 2 or 3 hours to completely move on out of the area. But I think by the time we get around here to the I-57 region, I really don't know if we're going to have any kind of severe storms. We'll still have those gusty winds. Even non-thunderstorm winds are going to get pretty gusty on the other side of this thing. But as far as timing and everything, within the next hour or two, we'll see stuff kind of creep over there to I-57. But the places to watch are still down there to the south. Christian County, Effingham County, maybe not so much, I said Christian County, Shelby County and Effingham County, not so much Christian County anymore. It might kind of graze the southeast corner of the area. But like I said, here in the next 10 or 15 minutes, if we don't see anything too eventful going on, we'll probably wrap up here the stream and get ready for the 9 o'clock news on Channel 49. Of course, thank you all for watching us here. Definitely doing everything we can to keep an eye on things and keep you safe here. I know we'd all rather enjoy the 80 degrees and sunshine that we've been having here the last few days, but things gotta change every now and then, unfortunately, and you know, trying to stay on subject here, but things are going to cool down tomorrow. Kind of be a nasty day, 40s and cloudy and windy. Talking gusts 40 to 50 mile an hour tomorrow. So, I mean, the severe threat will end here in the next couple of hours, but as far as just, way of life stuff tomorrow, it's going to be a nasty day to be outside. So keep that in mind. Okay, so we do have got a severe thunderstorm watch that is now expanded. We've got a handful of counties on there. I am going to, we're going to take a closer look at that here. I'm going to actually flip it over to full screen here for just a moment so I can take care of that watch box and make sure things are good. So that's the situation there right now. Not seeing anything too major in between those severe thunderstorm warnings down in Montgomery County all the way up north to now parts of very far north Logan County and McLean County. Anything else in between there, kind of just seeing those strong winds there, if anything. I'm working right now on trying to get a alert box set up here just to show you guys where that severe thunderstorm watch is now active. I might just, we'll see what this looks like here, just to kind of save us a little bit of time here. I'm going to pull up our all alerts one and kind of see how cluttered that one is there. That might work. It might be a little noisy, and we'll take a look here. And it should pull up here in just a moment as it kind of, okay, so there we go. Yeah, that's not bad. We'll show that here. So I'll flip it back to me. So we got that severe, that severe thunderstorm watch. Again, not warning, watch for all these counties out here along I-70. That includes Shelby, Moultrie, Effingham, Jasper, Crawford, Cumberland, Clark, Coles, Douglas, and Edgar. So they've seen enough there with the track of the system that they have sent out that watch there. I'm going to see. Flip it back here real quick. I'm going to hop off camera here for just a sec. Grab my phone here as it tells me when those watches expire. That one is that's from now to 1 in the morning. So those do last here a little bit. Those watches will remain here for a little bit of time. Obviously, as this line pushes through, we'll get radar back up there. As this line pushes through, even if those watches don't completely expire, it's when these currently active warned storms are right now, when that gets through your area, anything behind it there is just moderate to heavy rainfall. So not worried about any severe risk once that passes on through, just kind of windy conditions. Saw one warning just disappear there, that one in northern Montgomery County. So kind of restricting things down here to the south. But again, that watch now kind of encompasses this part of the area. So the bottom two layers, oh my goodness, I keep missing some good lightning over there at Springfield, which of course doesn't have anything too active going on there, but we'll take a look, because there's been some pretty impressive lightning here with these storms. There have been bolts showing up and down all night long here. So even if you don't have severe storms at the moment, you're getting a little bit of a light show here. Hopefully we can see something there on Springfield just for a little bit of flair. Got a couple more questions. Will it hit Ford County? What time do we expect anything here in Mahomet? So as far as anyone up and down I-57, that includes kind of the Champaign and Arcola, Tuscola, and Gibson City areas, all those places up and down the interstate there. I'm expecting within the next hour or so that line of storms starts to move on in. Whether or not it's severe status is still in question, because a lot of those storms along I-57 or approaching I-57 right now are not severe warned, and that's also kind of dodging the watch boxes there as well. Places like Douglas County, Champaign County there, Piatt County as well. Those are all north of the watch box there. So not too concerned about the central part of the area. It's this southern part that we kind of have to watch here, kind of cutting off that southern part there of those warnings. We'll keep focusing in there. Again, don't want to detract from the fact that some of those out there in the Bloomington area are going to see a severe thunderstorm warning here in the next about 20 minutes or so. That does look like it's going to hit the Bloomington normal area, just kind of off to there to the northwest. Not seeing anything overly alarming there with that. Just reports of 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts and hail up to quarter size there. Also keeping tabs here on everything on the phone to make sure if there's any kind of activity we need to be aware of here. Again, if you have any sort of reports, any sort of damage that you've seen so far, I know a lot of us are not in the affected area. A lot of us are kind of more towards that central part of the area that really doesn't have a whole lot of warnings going on. But if you do have anything to report, if you've heard anything from any kind of reliable source, send it our way. We'll relay that as well. But the extent of things right now just kind of seem to be damaging wind gusts and maybe some hail causing a little bit of damage there, but not these big old tennis and baseball-sized hailstones that we saw over there in Missouri earlier. So things trying to quiet down here just a little bit. I'm going to look here. I'm going to double check and look at that discussion that they sent out earlier about the watch to kind of see what they are seeing, kind of pick their brain a little bit here to see what they have going on. Boeing segment with embedded circulations, earlier affected areas. St. Louis is moving quickly eastward. Trends continue some weakening of convection within the line, which is good. That means less chances there for some severe weather. Convection moves into environment. So yeah, they do have the watch out there. It looks looks a little bit just kind of out of caution as some of these current severe storms that are still at that caliber start to advance east. And definitely, I don't want to say definitely, but I'm really doubtful that any of these storms really start to strengthen as they move on here into the area. They're kind of using all the steam they built up there during the day at this point. So it's not super likely that anything just kind of really jumps off the page and starts running crazy all over the place here. So keep an eye on that. And we're about to get to the point where there's almost no warnings here in the area, which will we'll probably definitely wrap up the stream here in about the next 10 minutes so we can get ready for that 9 o'clock show on Channel 49. But just kind of here over the last hour and a half, just kind of a recap of everything that's happened. We had a confirmed tornado heading towards the St. Louis metro area. There was probably 2 at least signatures of rotation around that area, maybe even up to 3. It just kind of had a wall of tornado warnings there. Those moved on up. They moved on up I-70 and I-55 there. And there for a while, we were watching Macoupin and Montgomery counties as those tornado warnings were placed. There was nothing confirmed by the time they got there, just rotation indicated on radar. And since then, that's the storms we're seeing here right now. They've kind of started to deteriorate here a little bit and not seeing as much rotation on them anymore. In fact, very little rotation on them anymore. That's why there's no active tornado warnings out there. I'm seeing a lot of reports up there around the around Knox, Marshall, Peoria, Stark counties up there. Seeing a lot of strong storms, 70+ mile an hour winds, hail upwards of an inch. We had a 80 mile an hour gust reported earlier in Fulton County, it was, I believe. So we're glad we're not getting hit by that stuff there. Although that one storm kind of tagging there at the bottom of all that, the one heading towards the Bloomington area, that one does look a little strong there. We're kind of observing things there. It's nothing too alarming here, but again, you might see some of your strongest gusts of the night there in that storm. But that one's gonna kind of graze the area. That might end up being a Livingston County issue here at some point, as this is our fastest moving storm that I've seen so far. This one's still moving at, I believe it's 45 miles an hour there. Yeah, still moving northeast at 45 miles an hour. So it'll make its way that direction here eventually, and that might have some of your strongest winds in the night, but it's one of the few things to talk about here right now. We'll continue to watch this one over there in Fayette County right now. That one's probably, starting to pass through the Vandalia part of the area right now. Places like Sharon kind of getting some pretty heavy rain right now. Might even be getting some hailstones drop that direction as well. And they're around Kaskaskia as well, starting to get a little bit of activity going down that way. And I feel like I've been doing that all night. I zoom in on a warning and it changes or something happens. So that one kind of starting to shrink, a little more narrow-ized path there. Places coming up in the path of this one: Altamont, Cowden, Stewardson, maybe far northwest Effingham there. But again, we're just kind of scraping by the bottom of the area here right now. Everything in between, still not all that impressive here. Man, down there to the south, that's an impressive looking line of storms there, and we've got some long thunderstorm warnings down there towards the south as well. So effectively, that was where they thought the strongest storms were going to be today. We were kind of in that slight region. They weren't completely sold on things really jumping up here, but we've had some severe thunderstorm warnings, and that's pretty much the extent of everything here at the moment. Really haven't heard anything as far as damage yet, just because a lot of these places are kind of a little outside the viewing area to where they don't always get us there on the airwaves, so it's kind of hard to get any reports down there from that direction. But if you are in Fayette County, if you are there, Effingham County, keep an eye on things there. Just let us know. Let's see, if someone gets off at 9:30 in Effingham and has to drive to Stewardson, how long do they have till it gets bad? So we're looking right now, you say get off at 9:30. By the time 9:30 reaches, I would have to think that storm is probably, we'll test that out here real quick. I'm gonna get the timing. This storm moving, okay, this one's moving pretty fast, 55 miles an hour, and that might actually work out good, because if someone's getting off at 9:30, that storm may well be out of the area. We'll look at that here just to double check though. Move that up to 55 miles an hour. Just kind of grab that. Redo that one there, kind of sold it a little short. we'll grab that and see how that extends. So yeah, looking at a place like Holland and Cowden. So you said, let's see. So yeah, I mean, this is all well before 9 o'clock, so that storm's probably going to be raced on through. So the severe part probably going to be taken care of by then. So I wouldn't worry too much there about that. And, you know, I suggest against driving in a severe thunderstorm, obviously, but you can wait it out with how fast this one's moving once that passes over. Again, once you get behind these warnings, it's just heavy rain and some winds out there, so it's nothing too extreme outside of that. But that's really the only region. You know, I appreciate the question about, you know, towns down that direction, because that's really the only place we have to keep alert for here at the moment is down there. So when Watson hearing a few rumbles of thunder. So we're still getting some questions about the central part of the area here. I'll pull up that timing graphic here again real quick, just so you can kind of check it out here. We're kind of starting to pass the point where some of these times are gone now, like those severe storm chances in that yellow area effectively ended there. 8 to 10 o'clock is when those storms are kind of moving on through this region here shaded in the orange. So anywhere you find yourself there in that region, that's when you can expect these storms to move on through. Whether or not they're still severe remains to be seen here a little bit. So we'll continue to keep an eye there on that. Flip back to radar here. But yeah, here's some of your basic timing. That's what we're still seeing here right now. Someone asking about Danville again, right around that 10 o'clock time frame. That's when you can expect things to start to roll on into there. We'll get radar back up here so we're not ignoring that there for too long. Also trying to field some messages coming in here on my phone as well. So so we got a new severe thunderstorm warning just popped up here. Okay, so that one is extending off of this storm down here, that one now moving out of Vandalia. So this one into Shelby and Effingham County and now into Cumberland County as well. It's pretty big swath here of warning. We'll see what's going on with that. Still seeing that storm moving a little bit on the quicker side of things, 45 miles an hour. We've got that 60-mile-an-hour wind tag and quarter-size hail again, so kind of keeping the status quo there with that one. So we are continuing to watch as those warnings stretch out to the east. And you can tell, I mean, based on the direction of these polygons, they've got that watch placed in a good spot. I believe it does not extend into Coles County. I'm gonna double check myself there just to make sure that we're not saying anything incorrect there. But yeah, if you missed that, if you're just now jumping in, there was a severe thunderstorm watch. Severe thunderstorm watch issued. Okay, so that actually gets up into Douglas County as well. So that's kind of the region we're watching for here. Anywhere in there is where you're seeing your chances for severe thunderstorms. It ends at 1 o'clock, but I mean, a place like Shelby County, once that one passes on through, you're fine after that. There's nothing really going on there afterwards once that pushes on through. So those places in pink, that's kind of the main spot here we're watching. So I'm gonna take a look here at a couple sky cams real quick. I'm gonna see, we'll get Springfield there at the moment. I'm gonna get the Effingham one lined up here just to kind of see what's going on now that we're starting to get a little activity down that direction. Again, we're kind of getting close to that 8:30 time frame here, and we'll watch as this thing kind of goes near Effingham. Not overly alarmed. Again, 60-mile-an-hour winds, quarter-size hail is what we're seeing there with that one. So still seeing active warnings out there, but nothing getting stronger here as we look into the night. We'll pull up that Effingham cam, have it pointing out there towards the west, and I will get that set up here on my station, get that tossed up there. So that's kind of what we're seeing here right now. I'm going to we'll just kind of look at that. Not a whole lot going on looking out there towards the west there in Effingham as that storm tries to move on through a little bit. But nothing really alarming here going on at the moment as we just kind of continue to see some strong gusts and maybe some hail here and there. But aside from that, things staying a little bit here on the quieter side. Kind of fish through some comments here, just see what's going on here as well. Kind of get our radar switched around here a little bit as well. So we will, I'm going to switch a couple things over here real quick. I'm going to put our camera here to make sure we can keep an eye on it. And we will kind of just mess around with a few things here. Sorry if it's a little, just kind of looking at some comments here right now in the chat. Someone asking how it's looking for Mattoon. Not too concerned about the Mattoon area. That warning might end up clipping it there at some point, but it's low end severe thunderstorm warning stuff. Might get windy, might see a little bit of hail here and there, but overall, not looking too bad. I'm gonna kind of switch a couple inputs around here real quick to make sure that I'm showing you guys the camera that I want to be showing you here. So let's get that pulled up here on my wall here. We'll switch camera shots. Yeah, that's the believe, unless I switch the, oh yeah, that's, I'm gonna move and switch that out here real quick. I've got that from, I was looking over at St. Louis here. Let's switch that over to number 2. There we go. Now we should have Effingham pulled up there. And we do. Okay, yep, keep an eye there out that direction. Not really seeing any lightning there on the camera yet, but we'll keep an eye on that because that's where things are heading here right now. But effectively, there's just not a bunch going on right now. And of course, with show times here, got that 9 o'clock show coming up here in about half an hour. We're going to probably have to prep for that here in about 10 or so minutes. We'll make sure that we get you that we keep you informed of where things are at here right now. If you do get Channel 49, of course, tune in there at 9 o'clock, and I'll keep things going here. But once we drop things here for that 9 o'clock show, I'm not 100% sure that we'll have to come back on the stream. Obviously, if there's still several active warnings, we'll definitely toss there. But right now, we are not seeing anything too out of control here, and just keep an eye there on the Effingham cam to see anything that's going on. I think here in a moment I'm going to switch back here and just look at some radar stuff because that Effingham camera is not showing me a whole bunch here at the moment. So we will switch things back over here, kind of give one last look at the way things are looking here right now. So I'm going to try to switch everything over. I'm going to send that camera full screen here so that way I can get everything moved around. We're going to flip what I have here over to Max 2, and we will, there we go, that looks better. So now we will run with this, right? Kind of a different look there on the radar, a little bit of a better picture there to see what's all going on. But I'll kind of wrap up here in the next 5 to 10 minutes as the 9 o'clock show is about to, I have to start prepping for that here in just a moment. The main thing to watch right now is that little, that storm down there towards the south now starting to approach Effingham County, starting to exit that Fayette County area here. So looking into Effingham and Shelby counties. That one, again, moving, check the speed on that. I believe it was, so now we're moving at 55 miles an hour. Let's kind of drag that out here and see where we can expect that and when here. Got that set to 55. We'll just kind of try to replicate the swath of that storm there and see things out. So this takes us all the way out there towards Neoga. So this one moving a little faster than some of the other storms we've seen here tonight. We'll kind of move that around there, make sure it's not blocking everything there in the storm picture. So place like St. Elmo right now, currently getting hit. Altamont in the next 5 minutes. Effingham looking closer to 9 o'clock there. Places like Sigel, Neoga, that area, starting to look closer around the 9 o'clock hour. So as far as timing goes, everything's still kind of staying on track. Got a report there from Carrie, says power out in Vandalia as that storm moves on through. I can definitely believe that after that storm moved on through there. That one actually does look like it's kind of gotten a little better as it's moved along there. So those are the places next in line there for that storm, which effectively is the only one that's going to stay here in the area at the moment. We're still watching that one up there, getting ready to effectively be all the way up into McLean County. We'll check that one too, seeing 60-mile-an-hour gust, quarter-size hail. That's pretty much the standard that we've seen right now is 60-mile-an-hour winds, quarter-size hail. Both of those alone would prompt a severe thunderstorm warning. So again, looking there at the bottom end of that, still a lot of noise up there in the Peoria area up there in north and northwest Illinois. But effectively, if you are behind this warning, if you are behind some of these storms, anything behind that, just rain and some breezy winds here the rest of the night. So effectively, the severe risk is ended there for that I-55 region. Anyone west of that, looking like things are starting to relatively calm down. Obviously windy and some heavy rain there at times. Still going to hear and feel that, but effectively, that's pretty much all we've got here at the moment. I'll probably wrap up the stream here real quick. Again, the one thing we're watching here, two things watching. I'll kind of wrap up here, just sending you off there without just leaving us in the dark here. This is one storm we're watching moving 55 miles an hour. It's going to get there into southern Shelby County and most of Effingham County within the next 30 minutes there. Those at the end of that polygon, within the next 30 minutes, that's when you are going to see that storm move on through. Places like, Cowden, Strasburg, that'll move in there in the next 10 to 15 minutes. Quarter-size hail, 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts there with that one. Encompasses a pretty big area, so that one will be the storm to watch here for a little bit. And I mention two things. One more up here towards the north. This one does look like if it holds its strength, that's going to move on into Livingston County and maybe far northern Ford County eventually. Again, that's pretty well down the road. This one, same threats, quarter-size hail there and 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. So we will probably, on that note, wrap things up here. Again, we'll be on X49 here in about 25 minutes. We've got a couple things to get ready there for that show to make sure we can kind of continue our coverage a little bit here, taking a little bit of a break in the action to get everything reset, kind of reassess the situation, look at those forecasts again to make sure everything's still staying on track. But effectively, things pretty well quieting down here right now. So I'll check for a couple last questions here. Again, people asking for Cumberland County there. That one still outside of half an hour before anything goes on around there. So I think we're going to wrap up here pretty much. So that severe thunderstorm watch, keeping south of I-70, keeping south of I-72, kind of hugging I-70 as well. Kind of just in this general region is where we'll watch the rest of the night. If there's a big need, if there's some storms start to fire up there again, we start to get some more warnings, I think we will we'll hop back in if that happens. But if things stay as quiet as they have right now, might not hop back on the stream. We'll see how things go here after the 9 o'clock show. But continue to stay safe. Again, strong winds, quarter-size hail. That's about what we're looking at here. So we will pretty much wrap up on that. Again, severe thunderstorm watch out there towards the east. Tornado watch is, I guess I'll check that real quick to see if that's even still up or if they've expired that. So they still have that for Macoupin, Montgomery, and Fayette, but I think that's really started to, I think the main threat's really wrapped up over there. So no active tornado watches outside that. And then one last look there at your severe thunderstorm watch. Let's get that to pull up, and your tornado watch. These will kind of be overlaid over each other here. So that's kind of look at things here right now. We will we'll wrap it up. You can, if you have X49, we'll switch over there to that. But until then, stay safe. Continue to stay weather aware. Keep an eye there on our social medias. We'll continue to update if anything changes. And of course, you got the WCI 3 weather app. It'll tell you what alerts are in your area there the second they're issued. So with that, we will wrap things up here. Again, thank you all for watching. Looks like things relatively quieting down here. We'll keep watching, but continue to stay safe and have a good night. We may or may not see you later here. If all goes well, we won't see you later because that means some things have really quieted down. So on that note, continue to stay safe out there, everyone, and